Hey everyone, Britta Albert here. This is your first time here. I'm a spiritual transformational life coach. It's my goal for this channel to help you overcome the obstacles that are standing in the way of you living your best and most authentic life. In today's video, we're continuing on with the series Conversations with God. And in this video, oh my gosh, hold on to your seats. If you have not listened to a whole entire Conversations with God video all the way through, this is the one to do it. Oh my gosh, this is, have you ever listened to something and then you actually like yell out loud in agreement or excitement, or rewind it, go back and just to hear that again? I did that with this video so many times. This is one I'm very passionate about. And using that as a segue, why do I play clips of the actual audiobook? I'm glad you asked. The reason that I play clips of the actual audiobook is so that you can hear for yourself and you can decide for yourself what resonates as truth and what doesn't. At the end of the video, I'll give my opinion and my take on what we just listened to. But it's very important for you to decide for yourself what resonates as truth and what does not. You get to choose what you believe. And everything in this book doesn't even resonate necessarily with me, but there's so much that I love about it. And this video in particular is one that set me free from a lot of the ideas and belief systems that were holding me back. It is one that is a breath of fresh air, in my opinion, and I hope that you feel the same way. So without further ado, I give you Conversations with God.
I've heard this before, but I've always railed against it because it seems so dishonest. I mean, if you're sick as a dog, you're not supposed to admit it. If you're broke as a pauper, you're never supposed to say it. If you're upset as hell, you're not supposed to show it. Reminds me of the joke about the three people who were sent to hell. One was a Catholic, one was a Jew, one was a New Ager. The devil said to the Catholic, sneeringly, "Well, how are you enjoying the heat?" And the Catholic sniffed, I'm offering it up." The devil then asked the Jew, "And how are you enjoying the heat?" The Jew said, "So what else could I expect but more hell?" Finally, the devil approached the New Ager. "Heat," the New Ager asked, perspiring. "What heat?"
It's a good joke. But I'm not talking about ignoring the problem or pretending it isn't there. I'm talking about noticing the circumstance and then telling your highest truth about it. If you're broke, you're broke. It's pointless to lie about it and actually debilitating to try to manufacture a story about it so as not to admit it. Yet it's your thought about it. Broke is bad. This is horrible. I'm a bad person because good people who work hard and really try never go broke, etc. That rules how you experience brokenness. It's your words about it. I'm broke. I haven't a dime. I don't have any money. That dictates how long you stay broke. It's your actions surrounding it, feeling sorry for yourself, sitting around despondent, not trying to find a way out because what's the use anyway? That creates your long-term reality. The first thing to understand about the universe is that no condition is good or bad. It just is. So stop making value judgments. The second thing to know is that all conditions are temporary. Nothing stays the same. Nothing remains static. Which way a thing changes depends on you.
Excuse me, but I have to interrupt you here again. What about the person who's sick, but has the faith that will move mountains and so thinks, says, believes he's going to get better, only to die 6 weeks later? How does that square with all this positive thinking, affirmative action stuff?
That's good. You're asking the tough questions. You're not simply taking my word for any of this. There is a place on down the line when you'll have to take my word for this, because eventually you'll find that we can discuss this thing forever, you and I, until there's nothing left to do but try it or deny it. But we're not at that place yet. So let's keep the dialogue going. Let's keep talking. The person who has the faith to move mountains and dies 6 weeks later has moved mountains for 6 weeks. That may have been enough for him. He may have decided on the last hour of the last day, okay, I've had enough. I'm ready to go on now to another adventure. You may not have known of that decision because he may not have told you. The truth is he may have made that decision quite a bit earlier, days, weeks earlier, and not have told you, not have told anyone. You have created a society in which it is very not okay to want to die. Very not okay to be very okay with death. Because you don't want to die, you can imagine anyone wanting to die, no matter what their circumstances or condition. But there are many situations in which death is preferable to life, which I know you can imagine if you think about it for even a little bit. Yet these truths don't occur to you. They're not that self-evident when you are looking in the face of someone else who is choosing to die. And the dying person knows this. She can feel the level of acceptance in the room regarding her decision. Have you ever noticed how many people wait until the room is empty before they die? Some even have to tell their loved ones, "No, really, go. Get a bite to eat." Or, "Go get some sleep. I'm fine. I'll see you in the morning." And then when the loyal guard leaves, so does the soul from the body of the guarded. If they told their assembled relatives and friends, "I just want to die," they would really hear it. "Oh, you don't mean that." Or, "Now, don't talk that way." Or, "Hang in there." Or, "Please don't leave me." The entire medical profession is trained to keep people alive, rather than keeping people comfortable so that they can die with dignity. You see, to a doctor or a nurse, death is failure. To a friend or relative, death is disaster. Only to the soul is death a relief, a release. The greatest gift you can give the dying is to let them die in peace, not thinking that they must hang on or continue to suffer or worry about you at this most crucial passage in their life. So this is very often what has happened in the case of the man who says he's going to live, believes he's going to live, even prays to live, that at the soul level he has changed his mind. It is time now to drop the body to free the soul for other pursuits. When the soul makes this decision, nothing the body does can change it. Nothing the mind thinks can alter it. It is at the moment of death that we learn who in the body-mind-soul triumvirate is running things. All your life you think you are your body. Some of the time you think you are your mind. It is at the time of your death that you find out who you really are. Now, there are also times when the body and the mind are just not listening to the soul. This, too, creates the scenario you describe. The most difficult thing for people to do is hear their own soul. Notice that so few do. Now, it happens often that the soul makes a decision that it is time to leave the body. The body and the mind, ever servants of the soul, hear this, and the process of extrication begins. Yet the mind, ego, doesn't want to accept. After all, this is the end of its existence. So it instructs the body to resist death. This the body does gladly, since it too does not want to die. The body and the mind, ego, receive great encouragement, great praise for this from the outside world, the world of its creation. So the strategy is confirmed. Now at this point, everything depends on how badly the soul wants to leave. If there's no great urgency here, the soul may say, "All right, you win. I'll stick around with you a little longer." But if the soul is very clear that staying does not serve its higher agenda, that there is no further way it can evolve through this body, the soul is going to leave, and nothing will stop it, nor should anything try to. The soul is very clear that its purpose is evolution. That is its sole purpose, and its sole purpose. It is not concerned with the achievements of the body or the development of the mind. These are all meaningless to the soul. The soul is also clear that there is no great tragedy involved in leaving the body. In many ways, the tragedy is being in the body. So you have to understand the soul sees this whole death thing differently. It, of course, sees the whole life thing differently, too. And that is the source of much of the frustration and anxiety one feels in one's life. The frustration and anxiety comes from not listening to one's soul.
Okay, so how can I best listen to my soul? If the soul is the boss, really, how can I make sure I get those memos from the front office?
The first thing you might do is get clear about what the soul is after and stop making judgments about it.
I'm making judgments about my own soul?
I just showed you how you judge yourself for wanting to die. You also judge yourself for wanting to live, truly live. You judge yourself for wanting to laugh, wanting to cry, wanting to win, wanting to lose, for wanting to experience joy and love. Especially do you judge yourself for that.
I do.
Somewhere you've come across the idea that to deny yourself joy is godly, that not to celebrate life is heavenly. Denial, you have told yourself, is goodness.
Are you saying it's bad?
It is neither good nor bad. It is simply denial. If you feel good after denying yourself, then in your world that is goodness. If you feel bad, then it's badness. Most of the time you can't decide. You deny yourself this or that because you tell yourself you are supposed to. Then you say that was a good thing to do, but wonder why you don't feel good. And so the first thing to do is stop making these judgments against yourself. Learn what is the soul's desire, and go with that. Go with the soul. What the soul is after is the highest feeling of love you can imagine. This is the soul's desire. This is its purpose. The soul is after the feeling, not the knowledge, but the feeling. It already has the knowledge, but knowledge is conceptual. Feeling is experiential. The soul wants to feel itself, and thus to know itself in its own experience. The highest feeling is the experience of unity with all that is. This is the great return to truth for which the soul yearns. This is the feeling of perfect love. Perfect love is to feeling what perfect white is to color. Many think that white is the absence of color. It is not. It is the inclusion of all color. White is every other color that exists combined. So, too, love is not the absence of an emotion, hatred, anger, lust, jealousy, covetousness, but the summation of all feeling. It is the sum total, the aggregate amount, the everything. Thus, for the soul to experience perfect love, it must experience every human feeling. How can I have compassion on that which I don't understand? How can I forgive in another that which I have never experienced in myself? So we see both the simplicity and the awesome magnitude of the soul's journey. We understand at last what it is up to. The purpose of the human soul is to experience all of it, so that it can be all of it. How can it be up if it has never been down? Left if it has never been right? How can it be warm if it knows not cold? Good if it denies evil? Obviously, the soul cannot choose to be anything if there's nothing to choose from. For the soul to experience its grandeur, it must know what grandeur is. This it cannot do if there's nothing but grandeur. And so the soul realizes that grandeur only exists in the space of that which is not grand. The soul, therefore, never condemns that which is not grand, but blesses, seeing in it a part of itself which must exist for another part of itself to manifest. The job of the soul, of course, is to cause us to choose the grandeur, to select the best of who you are, without condemning that which you do not select. This is a big task, taking many lifetimes, for you are wont to rush to judgment, to call a thing wrong or bad or not enough, rather than to bless what you do not choose. You do worse than condemn. You actually seek to do harm to that which you do not choose. You seek to destroy it. If there is a person, place, a thing with which you do not agree, you attack it. If there's a religion that goes against yours, you make it wrong. If there's a thought that contradicts yours, you ridicule it. If there's an idea other than yours, you reject it. In this you err, for you create only half a universe, and you cannot even understand your half when you have rejected out of hand the other.
Well, this is all very profound, and I thank you. No one has ever said these things to me, at least not with such simplicity, and I am trying to understand, really I am. Yet some of this is difficult to grapple with. You seem to be saying, for instance, that we should love the wrong so that we can know the right. Are you saying we must embrace the devil, so to speak?
How else do you heal him? Of course, a real devil does not exist. But I reply to you in the idiom you choose. Healing is the process of accepting all, then choosing best. You understand that? You cannot choose to be God if there's nothing else to choose from.
Whoops. Oh, hold it. Who said anything about choosing to be God?
The highest feeling is perfect love, is it not?
Yes, I should think so.
Can you find a better description of God?
No, I can't.
Well, your soul seeks the highest feeling. It seeks to experience, to be, perfect love. It is perfect love, and it knows this. Yet it wishes to do more than know it. It wishes to be it in its experience. Of course you are seeking to be God. What else did you think you were up to?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess I just never thought of it that way. There just seems to be something vaguely blasphemous about that.
Isn't it interesting that you find nothing blasphemous about seeking to be like the devil, but seeking to be like God offends you?
What? Now wait a minute. Who's seeking to be like the devil?
You are. You all are. You've even created religions that tell you that you are born in sin, that you are sinners at birth, in order to convince yourselves of your own evil. Yet if I told you you are born of God, that you are pure gods and goddesses at birth, pure love, you would reject me. All your life you have spent convincing yourself that you are bad. Not only that you are bad, but that the things you want are bad. Sex is bad, money is bad, joy is bad, power is bad, having a lot is bad. A lot of anything. Some of your religions have even got you believing that dancing is bad, music is bad, celebrating life is bad. Soon you'll agree that smiling is bad, laughing is bad, loving is bad. No, my friend. You may not be very clear about many things, but about one thing you are clear. You and most of what you desire are bad. Having made this judgment about yourself, you have decided that your job is to get better. It's okay, mind you. It's the same destination in any event. It's just that there's a faster way, a shorter route, a quicker path.
Which is?
Acceptance of who and what you are right now, and demonstration of that. This is what Jesus did. It is the path of the Buddha, the way of Krishna.
The walk of every master who has appeared on the planet. And every master has likewise had the same message. What I am, you are. What I can do, you can do. These things and more shall you also do. Yet you have not listened. You have chosen instead the far more difficult path of one who thinks he is the devil, one who imagines he is evil. You say it is difficult to walk the path of Christ, to follow the teachings of the Buddha, to hold the light of Krishna, to be a master. Yet I tell you this, it is far more difficult to deny who you are than to accept it. You are goodness and mercy and compassion and understanding. You are peace and joy and light. You are forgiveness and patience, strength and courage, a helper in time of need, a comforter in time of sorrow, a healer in time of injury, a teacher in times of confusion. You are the deepest wisdom and the highest truth, the greatest peace and the grandest love. You are these things, and in moments of your life, you have known yourself as these things. Choose now to know yourself as these things always.
Wow. How did that feel? What part of that resonated for you? Go ahead and type it in the comments below. Tell me right now, what part of that just stood out to you as something that you absolutely agreed with, or maybe something that really triggered you and you don't agree with at all. For me, one of the things that I loved, that I actually made a little clip of and I put it on my Instagram and my Facebook page, which if you want to go see those, check out the description below. And that is the concept that the soul cannot experience perfect love. That perfect love, number one, is everything. And the soul cannot experience perfect love unless it experiences everything. Because how can I have compassion for that which I have not experienced? How can I forgive that which I have no concept of? To me, that is something that resonated with so much truth. And part of it is my own particular beliefs in the idea of reincarnation, which I really don't necessarily even think about as reincarnation so much as consciousness evolution. I have other videos on that, but it just, to me personally, it makes the most sense. Why would we have this one life to get as much as we can, and it's either pass or fail, and if you fail, it's eternal damnation, and if you pass, then you get to go to heaven? That is traumatizing. To me personally, I feel that that is not a loving God, that is a quite terrifying God to put people in that situation. But I don't believe that God is malicious. I don't believe that God is hate-filled. I don't believe in that. I do believe that God is love. So if I believe that God is love, then what makes the most sense to me of how this would all play out? And that, actually, I think I talked about it in my very last video I did. I'll link that above as well. The concept that you can't fail. I think this is going to be in the next Conversations with God video, but when you're shooting for a relationship with God, God is so big that you can't fail. Eventually, we are with God, whether we choose hell or whether we choose heaven. And I know that might sound contradictory, but it's not that I believe that hell is where you go if you choose incorrectly. I believe that hell is here, that hell is the state of mind. Hell is separation from God. Hell is believing in lack mentality. Hell is giving in to fear, experiencing fear. And in attempting to avoid hell, we put ourselves there because we believe that we're born sinful. We believe that we are, God's talking about, that it's easier to believe that you're the devil than it is to believe that you're godly. Have you ever stopped to consider that that's kind of messed up? And this is, again, this isn't to trigger anyone, but this is why my opinion goes at the end of this video. You listen to what makes sense to you. You choose what resonates best with you. But this is my video that you're watching, so you're going to get my opinion. And this is my opinion, is I don't believe that these things that we're taught about ourselves are true. Because at the same time, in the same breath, you hear that God is perfect and his creation, her creation, is perfect. So if we are perfect and made in the image of God, then why are we also sinful? Why is it such a blasphemous idea that we are holy and that we are good? So if you embrace the fact that you're holy and that you're good, then where does the fear come from? Where does the fear of blasphemy come from? Well, let go of the idea that you're going to go to hell. What also is so fearful about the idea of accepting our wholeness and accepting our power and accepting our divinity and accepting our godlikeness? It's accepting responsibility for what comes with that. When you accept responsibility for who you are, then who do you have to blame? When it's easier to say, I rely on God for everything, God's going to provide for me. That's not untrue by any means. That is not untrue. You have a relationship with God. You have a relationship with the universe. You co-create with everybody in existence. So yes, you'll bring those things to you because God loves you, because you have that relationship. But this concept that you have to rely on God for everything, I don't think that that's what God would want. Again, we talk about God being the perfect parent. Do you think that it's a good idea to make your children codependent on you where they cannot survive even into their adult lives, even when they have their own children, that they cannot survive without you and that they must rely on you? No, we call that mental abuse. So if God is the perfect parent, why would God say you must rely on me? Yes, of course, God will provide. But what happens when we take responsibility and we say, I own this. I own the creation of my life. I own the co-creation with other people, other beings. I own the co-creation with the universe. Then who do you have to blame when things go to shit? Pardon my language. It's taking ownership and responsibility and accountability for the earth and the way that cultures are throughout the globe. We think we're one person and we can't make a difference, and that's not true. That's the limited belief system. That's the lack mentality. We can change the earth right now. It is a reflection of you. What do you want to see? What kind of earth do you want to live in? Go out and create it. Find others who are willing to co-create with you. But it feels, when you're not in that place to have ears to hear what I'm saying right now, it feels like that's blasphemous, doesn't it? It feels like that's wrong. It feels like that's hopeless. It feels like you're weak. You're one person. You can't do that. And that's a choice. When you're in the midst of it, it might not feel like much of a choice. But when you change your perspective and you start to listen, you start to go to a place of quiet, a place of peace, and you really start to listen. You're not listening to what other people are saying. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're going within and you're asking the source. You're asking the universe. You're asking God itself. And beyond that, you're asking yourself. Who am I? What am I? Where am I? Then you start to get the answers. Then the rest of everything starts to fall away. And we can get deep into this topic, but I want to be mindful about how long this video already is. I hope that this video gave you a breath of fresh air. I hope that this video gave you a new perspective. And if you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like these Conversations with God videos, I mean, we are only in the first book. There are 3 books to go through. This series is gonna go for a while. And if you like other things, I talk about many other things on Mondays. Thursdays are kind of the Conversation with God video days. Every once in a while, we'll mix it up a little bit. Generally, this series is going to be going for quite a while. So if you like this series, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to check out some other videos, go ahead and check out other videos on this channel. I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a great day. I will see you next time.